I waved to somebody. They waved back. I don't know if the guy's name was Kevin, but he was in his driveway washing the car with his kids. So it was not Kevin that I waved to.
We are all doing life, but who knew life could be this funny? It's Doing Life with Maria and Chad. It's our podcast.
And this is a very special episode. You know how you see that on TV shows, Maria? It's a very special episode today because at the very end, don't miss the end, we have a major announcement, something we've been waiting to tell you about. So don't miss the major announcement at the end of today's episode. So Maria, to start the podcast today, I want you to grab your cell phone.
Okay.
And look at the text message that I sent you. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see the picture that Maria is about to look at.
Okay. You just sent me a picture?
Yeah, it should be on. I sent it a minute ago. Did you receive a text from me?
Not yet.
All right, maybe it's. I know your house is kind of a dead zone. If you want to look it up, go to Google Caesars.com. Look for Harrah's Auction. It's the casino in Maricopa. And the reason I want you to see that website and what comes up is the gentleman who is on all of the ads for them right now, billboards, TV, is your husband.
Is my husband?
It is. It's so funny because I had been looking at it and I'm like, that is Eric. Your husband's a little thinner, but it is your husband's doppelganger. I'm telling you, the picture that I'm looking at, I guess they're promoting summer because he's like standing there with a tube. He's got goggles on his forehead. It reminds me so much of your husband, Eric.
So what you're telling me is my husband is moonlighting as a model and never told me.
Well, we've always known that your husband is a model, but now it's official. He is, and he's this guy. I wonder if he lives here in Arizona because it's being used, for the Maricopa Casino. But there's different pictures, and he's dressed up in one of them. This one, he's ready for the pool. It'll probably come into your cell phone when you're not in there in your office there. But I wanted to bring it up because I didn't know if you had put two and two together, if you've seen any of these commercials.
I have not seen them yet, but now I'm kind of interested. And you're right, my husband is a model. He's got a nice ass. It could be him, and he's just not telling me.
Am I to understand that you have followed something that I asked you to do? You've watched a TV show that I suggested?
You suggested watching My Octopus Teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you did not make it through the whole thing, that it was good, but isn't that right?
I thought it got kind of ridiculous. I think the first 20 minutes kind of covered it. Did you stay all the way through?
We watched the entire thing. And I got to tell you, I thought it was beautiful. I cried, and my husband's like, "Are you crying watching An Octopus Teacher?"
If you haven't seen it, it's basically how we can all learn from the octopus, how the octopus, goes about its daily life.
Well, it was kind of interesting. It was more about the relationship between this gentleman, the scientist, and this octopus. And in a nutshell, this man is going through some struggles in his personal life and in his marriage.
Yeah.
And he is home when he's in the water. So he decides he's going to, quit his job and just kind of go swimming and go to the ocean or whatever. And in the process of doing this, he comes across this octopus and he decides he is going to visit this octopus every day. And he does for over a year.
He's a little weird.
Not exactly sure if his marriage lasted through that.
Yeah, they don't update that, I'm sure.
But it's very, very interesting, the relationship he develops, like a real relationship with this octopus. They are so smart. He tries to not, well, he totally does. He does not interfere with this octopus life. Like, he doesn't intervene when sharks come. He doesn't intervene when he's looking for food. I mean, it's so interesting. And they develop a real relationship.
That is so strange. Yeah, I maybe I'll go back and finish it. It probably tells me if I go into my Netflix account, it probably tells me where I left off. As I'm listening to you tell me about that, I didn't even realize all of the things that happened after I shut it off. There's one on Amazon Prime. If you have an Amazon account, for our listeners of the podcast, if they want to check it out. I don't know if I've ever told you. Did I talk to you about Grizzly Man?
I don't think so.
This guy's name is Timothy Treadwell, and he was up for the Woody Harrelson part in Cheers.
Oh.
So he was like an actor trying to make it, and he didn't get the part. Obviously, Woody did, but it kind of, his life melted down after he didn't get that role, and he saw how big the show got. So he decided to once a year go to Alaska and live with grizzly bears.
Jeez.
And he was a whack job, and this doesn't ruin anything for you, but he eventually gets eaten by grizzly bears. But you watch him.
I heard about that. Yes.
It's free if you have Amazon Prime. It is one of those guilty pleasure weird movies that you should watch because you know how it's going to end. But when you watch him interact with these bears, the bears are like behind him, and he's like yelling at them like, "Hey, get out of there. Don't put that fish down." Like he has these, they all have names. It's definitely one that I would recommend. One more thing I wanted to make sure we brought up on today's podcast, Maria, is I thought of you. This was on Saturday. So, we've got a puppy, Juno. She's just over a year old. And so the key to a good puppy is to wear them out, right?
Yes.
So that's what I was trying to do on Saturday. I took her for a long walk, and I was coming back into our neighborhood, and I saw a car go by, and it was my neighbor, Kevin. And I go, "Hey, Kev," and he waved back, and that was that. And then I walked back to our house, and that's when I saw what was actually Kevin. I waved to somebody. They waved back. I don't know if the guy's name was Kevin, but he was in his driveway washing the car with his kids. So it was not Kevin that I waved to. And I knew you would appreciate that.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I just felt so stupid, but hopefully the guy's name was Kevin. Maybe he's like, "Who the heck is that? He knew my name. I'm waving back." It was just really weird.
He probably went home and said, "There was this random guy walking his dog and he knew my name."
Or he was just being nice, like, "Hi, I'm not Kevin, but hi."
Hi. So, that Lucy graduated from college in December. Mm-hmm. I told you she's going to be moving home.
Yes.
Yikes. She and her girlfriends had a big night out because they all got their Delta Gamma, their sorority superlatives. And superlatives is the name for something when you graduate. It's the most likely to succeed, most likely to have 18 kids. They're kind of funny sometimes.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Guess what my daughter's was? Just take a wild guess.
Well, I've seen her do these things on TikTok that say kind of who you are. I couldn't in a million years. What I know of your daughter is a funny, sweet girl. I don't know.
She sent us a photo of the diploma that she got, her superlative diploma.
Yeah.
Let me just say, apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Uh-oh.
Most likely to buy the entire bar a round of shots.
Yeah, that is accurate. That is so spot on. What now, were all the girls' superlatives, were they all like drinking related, or were they like all over the place?
The only one that I saw, because she put together a little Instagram video or something, was one of the girls was most likely to be a billionaire.
Okay.
And I don't know what the other ones were, but hers was so spot on, and I laughed so hard about it. Oh my God. I don't know if I should be proud or worried.
No, you're right. The apple does not far fall from the tree. I have written a game for you today, Maria. It's Get the Fake Out, and I want you to think about what you want to play for as we get into it here.
You are a liar. You are a fake.
Maria and Chad present.
Is this for real? Do you ever fake it?
Get the Fake Out.
That was a fake.
I think I'm for real.
All right. What are we playing for today, Maria?
Yeah, I already know what I want to play for. I want to win the Mega Millions. So I would like the universe to put the winning numbers into my noggin. So when I play the lottery, I'm going to win the 350 Mega Millions jackpot.
All right, that's what we're playing for today. Grab your pen and paper because I know you like to write down these headlines. If you're playing along as you listen to our podcast at home or in your car, think about which one you think is fake. Today there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 headlines.
Holy crap, I don't have enough paper.
And we will keep letting you guess till you get it right today so you win the Mega Millions, okay? So you cannot lose. You may just get it wrong a few times. Headline number 1. Boulders block road in Boulder Canyon, according to Boulder County Sheriff's Office.
Oh my God, Boulders block road.
Boulder.
Okay.
All right. An Arizona town protested plant-based meat by having a Beyond Meat food fight.
Okay. All right.
All right. Police are searching for Chewbacca after he stabbed someone during a fight.
Okay.
The United States military has a height cutoff. No one over 6'8" can enlist.
Okay.
All right. A woman is suing Bagel Bites for being low-quality pizza.
What, she didn't know that?
I don't know. So we'll see if you think that's the fake one. People are getting their sense of smell back after they lost it because of COVID, after they go through what's called smell training.
Okay.
And finally, the next big thing is a plus-sized Asian boy band.
I gotta tell you, there's not a whole lot of plus-size Asians. I mean, they're all tiny. Okay, let's see. The Boulder. I think that's true.
Yep.
Arizona town. I did not read about this, but the food fight, probably. Somebody just dressed as Chewbacca. I think that one's true as well. Number 3. The military cutoff. I read this story, and I don't know if it was 6'8" like you said, or if it was 6'10" when I read the story.
Okay.
So I got to think about that one. The woman suing Bagel Bites, I think that's true as well. And there was something about not enough cheese on it. I don't know. Okay. Without even going through 6 and 7, I think you tried to trick me. And I think it's number 4 is the fake story that the military cutoff is not 6'8", it's 6'10".
All right. Let's just see here. All right. So the way it works today, you get to guess again. That is a real headline. It's 6'8". And just a side note to that one, David Robinson, the basketball player, he was in the military and he was under that height when he enlisted. And then I think he ended up becoming like 6'10" or something like that. So he grew.
Take him out?
No, once he's in, he was in. But it's like when you enlist, you have to be 6'8" or shorter.
Okay, so then I'm going to go to number 6. I don't think there's smell therapy. I mean, you can't train yourself to smell. I think you either smell or you don't. So I think you made that one up.
All right, Maria, you're 0 for 2. That is real, and it's basically you train your nose and brain to smell again by sniffing a few strong perfumes or scents every day, and that will help get your smell back. They call it smell training.
Suck at this.
So keep on going. Do you need me to refresh your memory on any of these? What's left?
I don't think so. All right, well then, you know what? I'm going to go with number 1. There's too many boulders in that story. Boulders blocking the road in Boulder, Colorado. I think you made that up.
Boulders block road in Boulder Canyon, according to Boulder County Sheriff's Office. That is also real.
Oh my God.
All right, we're narrowing it down. So we have the food fight with the Beyond Meat. We have the Chewbacca stabbing somebody. We have the Bagel Bites pizza. And we have the Asian boy band being plus sized.
All right, Asian boy band plus size. That is false. That is fake.
That is a real headline, Maria.
All right, can I phone a friend?
Nope, you got to keep going. You're going to do this. Eventually, you got to get it right. They're called Produce Pandas is the name of the boy band. And get this, I love these names. So the members of the band are named Ding, Cass, Husky, Otter, and Mr. 17. And They weigh an average of 220 pounds each, and their oldest member is 31 years old.
Wow.
I don't know how they call themselves a boy band, but 220 pounds. You said, yeah, mostly Asian people are smaller or lighter, so that's pretty heavy, and they're not even sticking to the idea of being young to be a boy band. But they're, look for Ding, Cass, Husky, Otter, and Mr. 17 at a record store near you.
All right. I only have 3 options left. I'm just totally, shooting 0 right now.
Mm-hmm.
The food fight in an Arizona town. I didn't hear about that, and I live here.
All right. Yeah! You got it!
Oh, yay!
You get the right numbers for the Mega Million. Yeah, I made that one up. So let's go through. That was smooth. In the Chewbacca thing happened in New Orleans. It was a street performer, of course. But the funny thing is, the police are actually posting pictures of Chewbacca saying, "Have you seen this guy?" I mean, like, have you seen somebody with a Chewbacca costume? So that's kind of strange. The Bagel Bite thing came from Wisconsin. I know you got family in Wisconsin, and you lived there for a time, right?
Yes, I did.
So this woman filed a lawsuit against Bagel Bites. She is specifically upset that they don't use real tomato sauce or mozzarella cheese with their Bagel Bites. And they'll probably pay her. That's the gist with that. We got a bunch coming up here on the podcast, but let's do the final question real quick.
The final question.
All right, the question for today is a fun one. I know there's stories involved with this one. Answer this, Maria. Have you ever been on a celebrity's tour bus? Da-da-da.
2 that I can remember, and one you and I were together. We went on Chris Jansen's tour bus and interviewed him.
Which he was like the nicest guy. It was him and his wife were there. And he's the guy, if you don't know, he does Buy Me a Boat and a bunch of other songs. Really nice guy.
Fix me a drink.
Yep. Fix me a drink.
Fix a drink or whatever, yeah.
Which is funny because he doesn't drink.
I know. And his wife, I totally bonded with her.
Mm-hmm.
I loved her. This cute little blonde. Oh, she's adorable. And then the other one I went on, this is years ago. And do you remember Tony C and the Truth?
I do not. What is Tony C and the Truth?
They did this song called A Little Bit More. And they're kind of a one-hit wonder. I think they might have done a couple other songs, but this was like their big one. And they were performing at Tempe Beach Park.
Uh-huh.
And I don't remember what the occasion was, if it was a holiday or whatever, but I went on their tour bus.
Okay.
And they just like showed me around. It was my first time ever on a tour bus, and it looked like, a fancy bus.
So do you think, looking back, was it like, hey, come on back to my tour bus? Or were they just kind of showing off?
It wasn't actually... Asterisk. It wasn't actually Tony C. It was like one of the band members. And perhaps they were looking to, blah, 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 but obviously none of that happened.
Right. No, it's funny. I just, guy that I worked with in radio, I just had a flashback. His girlfriend at the time was such a groupie, and she would basically travel around with the opening band of this, that was on a tour, and she was in love, and they were brothers. And I mean, this is me estimating, but I think the brothers, both of them, had relations with her back then. So again, it was a girlfriend. He's not with her today, but I remember, hey, she knows the band. And I'm like, how did you know the band? Well, this is how. So
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
There's so many, tour buses, because working in radio, you get a chance to interview people, and sometimes you get to go on tour buses, especially in the country format. This was when I was doing country, and this was an artist that was country and kind of trying to go into pop at the time. Maybe you've heard of her, Taylor Swift.
Shut up. You were on Taylor Swift's tour bus?
I was. And she was. I mean, she had the song Tim McGraw, and I want to say maybe 1 or 2 other songs. And it was her and her mom, and then the girl that I was doing the radio show with at the time, and myself. And they couldn't have been nicer. And I look back at that, and I'm sure access to her is not the same as it was then, but they really were nice. And she's like, all right, so let's go out of we were playing a prank on her mom, because her mom was in the tour bus. And so again, she's a little girl, she's like, let's go outside and bang on the side of the bus and see if she gets scared. Like she was literally just, a little girl that, was a good singer. And obviously I've been able to watch her. I can't say I'm a huge fan of who she's become, but like, she's talented. There's no way around that, right?
Well, was she wearing a cardigan is what I want to know.
I don't remember. I think it was a dress. I probably could dig up photos because I remember we took pictures on the bus. And I mean, literally, we could have spent the night in the bus. She didn't care. She's like, just wanted somebody to hang out with her.
Oh, that's cute.
I think she was opening for Brad Paisley at that point, I feel like. Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
a good one.
Crazy. All right. So, as we teased in the beginning of the podcast, we have an announcement. If I were to say that I'm not emotional about this, I would be lying. And do you want to start or do you want me to, Maria?
Let me just say that you are the hardest working man I know. Honest
Thank you.
to God.
Thank you.
And you are, now I'm going to get emotional. And you are one of my best friends.
I can't see you, so I don't know when it's my turn to talk. You are one of my best friends, and you will continue to be.
I know. And you worked for, I don't know if I'm exaggerating or not because it's been so long, a year
Yeah.
to do this. Mm-hmm. So you can continue.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's bring everybody up to speed. So this podcast will be taking a sabbatical, a break. And I want to phrase it as goodbye for now, but not goodbye forever. It's been great. We've been doing this over a year. Our contracts prevented us from, because of non-compete clauses, we could not put our podcast out until just about a year ago when we first did the one where people could hear it. We were doing it before that because we had nothing else to do, and practicing and that sort of thing. So this podcast has been a labor of love for both of us, and we've had great connections with fans and stuff over the time. But what Maria is saying is I have found a new job, and along with that comes a lot of travel and a lot of time and effort. And it was a hard decision. But a week ago, I told you, which again was not easy for me to tell you, that I don't think I'm going to have time to do this. And I'm not saying that I won't in a month or 2 months or however long until I figure out what my new schedule is going to be. But I know that the job that I can't get into details about just yet, is going to be very labor and time intensive. And I'm afraid of being overcommitted. And this is one of the things that I can take a break from for now to allow me to start this new chapter.
Just so proud of you because you really have been interviewing for this particular job forever, like forever.
And once I can release the details of what it is, I can talk about it. But here's what Maria is saying. I have met the guy who's going to be my boss. I've met my other boss. I've met his boss. I've met the person that cleans the bathrooms. It is a job where I'm able to talk on the radio, so that's going to be great. The reason I cannot get into details is the person that I'm replacing is still in the dark of that this is happening. So I was told to keep it quiet until it's official and there's a press release and all that stuff. But that being said, so you told your daughter Lucy, and what was her reaction?
So, well, there's a couple of things going on. I told Lucy, Lucy was at this is going to get kind of long here. Lucy was at a graduation party, and she was actually emceeing this graduation party. Mm-hmm. And one of the girls that was graduating, her grandmother was there and used to listen to me on the radio when I worked at Cool FM. So this is, a whole lifetime ago.
Right.
And Lucy said, well, hey, my mom has a podcast with Chad, and gave her the name of the podcast. And this woman, bless her heart, was so excited. She goes, oh, I can hear my Maria and Chad again. And then Lucy's telling me this and she's all proud. And I'm like, well, we're doing our last episode this week.
Oh, man.
She goes, no, what's going on? And I told her, I go, well, Chad got a really great job. It's not an opportunity he cannot pass up. And then I don't think she was drinking either because she was driving. She goes, well, Mom, maybe you and I can do a podcast together.
Yeah.
And I got the wheel started turning, like, we've got some fun stories. It might be a good thing to do.
And please do, because I would love to listen to that, and whatever ways that I can help promote that, I'll do that for you. I'm going to continue doing the solo podcast that I do only because it's less time constraints. It's going to lend more to, it'll work really well with what I'm also doing full time.
Yes.
So I'll give you a clip because I know Mother's Day is coming up this weekend. Let me play you because I didn't want to have to tell this story over again because it's kind of convoluted, but a little bit of a free episode of my other podcast for Mother's Day here.
Oh, yeah, that just happened.
Thanks for checking out episode 30 of That Just Happened. It's the perfect podcast for a short commute, a short attention span, or both. And I've decided to call this episode All in the Family. And you have to put on your thinking caps and follow the bouncing ball. This is a wild ride that comes to us from China. Yes, it involves a wedding. A woman attending a wedding in China identified the bride of her son, the woman marrying her son, as her long-lost daughter because she saw a birthmark on her hand. I guess the birthmark was similar to the one of the daughter that she lost, or in China, sometimes daughters are discarded because they're looking for a boy. So the mom of this bride, if you're following me, went up to the parents of the girl that her son is marrying and asked if they had adopted their daughter 20 years ago. Just like the mother-in-law to make it all about her, right? No, just as you might expect, the family was shocked by the question as it had been a secret for so many years, but revealed that yes, they had found a baby girl by the roadside a long time ago, and she had been with them ever since. Cue the waterworks. The bride burst into tears. She had been so desperate to know her biological family that she described the moment as being happier than the wedding day itself. There's so many twists to this story. There was no objection to the marriage as the groom was also adopted. I mean, could they be from the same father? Who knows? The article leaves me with so many questions. For example, like, did the mother switch sides of the room from the groom side to the bride side? And also, I'm willing to bet Lifetime is probably buying the movie rights. Now, if my theory of the groom and the bride somehow having the same biological father, that's some definite M. Night Shyamalan stuff.
Oh, yeah, that just happened. Oh, yeah, that just happened.
All right, so that's just a clip of it, but I should explain. So the reason I'm able to continue doing this is the podcast is going to be based on short stories that are uplifting, that are positive, kind of good news stories, Maria.
I don't know if that story was good news to the groom.
No, well, yeah, it was a little weird, but it was Mother's Day related. And again, that was actually I did that one before I learned that I got this job. So, but yeah, that's the gist of it. And my goal, before the end of this month, I want to add 100 more subscribers to that podcast. So if that's something that you want to check out, I would love for people to continue to listen to that and subscribe. You can find that at patreon.com/TJH. So patreon.com/TJH. And I do new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. And they're like, I think it's 60 cents per episode or something like that.
That much?
I know. Save your pennies. But that's the gist. That's the gist of what I've got going forward. How soon do you think you're going to try the podcast with Lucy?
I don't know. I need to talk with her and make sure she's going to commit, to doing it on a regular basis. I mean, hell, she is moving in. And then you and I had also talked about doing, not you doing it with me, but Drunk Moms podcast, where my girlfriends and I just drink a bottle of wine and start recording our conversations.
I think you should try them all. And the one that with Lucy, how about you title it "Buying Shots for the Entire Bar"? I don't know. Just thinking out loud here.
I was thinking the other night, I was kind of losing sleep because I was trying to think of names, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I thought of Who's the Real Adult?
That's good.
Family,
That's good.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So if anybody has like some fun mother-daughter podcast names, feel free to let me know.
We are going to continue. We have our social media channels, of course, Facebook and Instagram. We'll keep posting on those. And send in ideas for podcast names. If you want to tell us about the time you were on a celebrity's tour bus, we'd love to read and hear about that. And I really don't know what else to say except for that I love you, Maria, and thank you for doing this with me, and thank you for supporting me in my new adventure. It'll be... I can't wait to tell everybody what it is, but I just can't do it just yet. I know.
I love you too. And, and like you said, this isn't goodbye forever. It's goodbye for now. And obviously you and I will still get together and drink and be stupid.
Exactly. That will never stop. All right. Goodbye for now.
Thanks again for listening to Doing Life with Maria and Chad. Follow us on Instagram at Maria and Chad and Facebook. You can now listen on the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, the free Amazon Music app, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Pandora, Podbean, and of course, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode.